So to summarize what we discussed so far, we basically talked about how we're going to create content videos on our Facebook page, and then once people actually watch our video, we're only after that point we're actually going to show them an actual ad. And we're doing this to make sure people are going through these different phases, right? To make sure that people who've never heard of your business before, who've never heard of you before, who've never heard about your problem before, who may not even be looking to buy your product, we're going to make sure that we're going to make them aware that the problem they have. We're going to make them consider your product, and we're going to get them to consume your product, basically get your product. They want to buy your product. Now, in order to do that, we obviously need to create content. Like, that's what this whole strategy is about. Just like I have on this Facebook page, I've got various videos that I'm producing, and most of these videos, and this is what I recommend for you as well, are videos targeted to your ideal customer, right? Your ideal customer who maybe has never heard of you before, but you as the business owner, you should probably realize or understand who your customer is. What are their daily issues? What kind of problems do they have, right? And it doesn't matter whether you are into business to business or business to consumer, like, you're always solving some kind of a problem, right? Whether it is time, like even if it's just for fun, like people are, their problem is, how do I kill time? Like, they watch Netflix. Netflix solves a problem, like to kill time and to be entertained, right? You're always solving a problem, right? So what kind of problems does your ideal customer have? And it doesn't even necessarily has to be the problem that you're solving. So I'll give you an example. We at Connectio, we help you make your Facebook ads more efficient and more profitable. We're doing that in various ways, like better retargeting audiences by automatically creating your custom audiences from your autoresponder and all these kind of different things. But there's also a lot of problems that our ideal customer will have, and we don't necessarily solve them, but there are the problems that speak to our audience. Like, for example, how do I write better Facebook ads, right? That would be something that our software does not particularly solve, but it's something that's a very real problem, right? And that could be an entry point for us to sort of start that conversation, right? So the first part of all of this is creating content, to put content out on your Facebook page, particularly videos that will build you an audience, right? And obviously we're going to make sure that people are going to see those videos and all of that, but first you need to actually create those videos. Now, before you can create those videos, you obviously need to know what videos to create, like what are you actually going to talk about, right? And there's basically three main types of content that I like to post, that I'd like to create, because it works. And those are how-to videos, right? Actual, just, where you basically show or share what kind of, basically how to do something, which could be anything, but something that's related to here's how to write better Facebook ads. Here's how to, bake the best bread, or whatever is relevant for your business. But basically how-to videos where you literally show something how to be done, because people immediately get value out of that. I also like to show case studies, which is a bit of an overlap, but basically sharing different use cases or different stories of other people who are experiencing the same thing that your target audience experiences. I hope that makes sense. And finally, how-to case studies, and also my own personal stories, because there's nothing more than stories to sort of move your audience, right? So these could be, for example, stories of like how you got started as a business owner, or maybe how you had the same problem they had and how you sort of discovered there's actually a solution for it, right? As the entrepreneur, you probably have tons of stories that will relate to your audience, to your ideal customer, and stories is always good, right? So I typically create videos around these three areas, but obviously you want to have more concrete insights. And what I always do is actually got a couple of blog posts that I found online that I think are just brilliant for inspiration. So these are, here's one by Opt-in Monster, and I'll add a link to it as well. But they actually described 103 blog post ideas. And once again, it doesn't really matter whether it's a blog post or a video. Oftentimes you can do the same kind of content, right? And I highly recommend you to go through this list and ask yourself, like, what content am I comfortable with? Because in the end of the day, it's not just about what you can come up with, but it is what you're comfortable with, right? That's a really important thing, because if you're not, fully comfortable creating a video about something, then obviously it's not going to be as effective. So you want to make sure that you go through this list and ask yourself, like, hey, what could I create? And make a full list, right? And not just this one. I also got one here that I highly recommend you to read from Go Schedule. They got 189, and once again, some of them will be a match for you, most of them won't, and that's why I highly recommend you to go through them all, because if I would look at my own experience, usually what I do is I go through these kind of lists, and then I write down all the actual, all the videos that I think, I could create a video about that. And then while I sort of start thinking about what would I actually say on a video, I realized that probably like at that point, half of them are scratched out. So I'm not trying to, what I would not suggest you to do is create a list of videos and then force yourself to create all of these videos. I want you to create a list of videos that you could create based on these articles that I just showed you. And then from that list, ask yourself, like, which videos do I actually, like, what would I record? Like, what would I actually say? What would I educate to my audience? And if at some point you're like, I want to create a video about a certain subject, maybe you do want to create a video about how to bake better bread or whatever the business that you're in, but while you're preparing for the recording, you're not comfortable that you can actually pull it off, then just don't do it. That's fine. Like, it's not about getting most of the content out there. It's about getting good content out there. That's really important. So make a list. So step one, have these three items in mind. Go through these two articles that I just showed you. Make a full list of all the ideas or all the ideas that you have that you could create a video about, that you're comfortable doing a video about. And then based on the ones that you're most excited about, that you think you can easily produce and record, that's the video list that we're gonna go for. And obviously there's other places where you can find good content as well, right? So first of all would be obviously your customers, right? So if there are certain questions that your existing customers are asking you, that could be good content to create as well, right? So I'd also recommend to check out various Facebook groups. So if you go into a Facebook group about a certain topic, so for example, I'm as the entrepreneur, I spend a lot of time in groups around Facebook ads, for example. Every single day I see people ask questions about Facebook ads, and I realize a pattern. Sometimes I see someone asking, and then a couple of days later see the same question asked by someone else. I know that that's something that people really want to know, so I write it down on my list just for later on. Maybe that's something I should create content about. So always check out Facebook groups. Same goes for forums and LinkedIn groups. It's just that Facebook groups are pretty active these days, so that's why I recommend a Facebook group. You can obviously also check out competitors. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science. It's not like we're the only ones putting out content. Everyone's doing it, or at least a lot of people. So check out your competitors. Go through their newsfeed. Literally scroll through their newsfeed and see which ones has more likes or shares or comments than others, right? Because if they have a lot of likes and comments, it probably means one or two things. Either a lot of people are genuinely liking it, which is a good thing, like the actual subject that they're talking about strikes a nerve with their audience, or they've been running it as a Facebook ad, and that's why there's more likes, which is also a good thing because they won't be running that as an ad if it's not profitable for them. So competitors is definitely a good one to check out as well. Always good, if we're talking about videos, to check out YouTube as well, right? So to see what kind of videos are doing really well on YouTube, you can actually search for certain keywords there and then filter like which one is most viewed, and that will give you a bit of an idea like what kind of questions or people are asking or answering in a video. And it's also a good way to just look at those videos for inspiration if you're not sure how to answer a certain topic or how to explain a certain how-tos, for example. So like, hey, this is what you need to do in order to do X, Y, or Z. I hope that makes sense. And besides these things and the blog post that I just showed you, overall, just keep your eye out, right? Like, keep your eyes open in case and look to the world in a way of like, hey, could I create a video about this? I mean, if you go to a conference, for example, look at the schedule, look at like, hey, are these topics that would be interesting for my audience? Could I create a video about it? I mean, let's say you do go to a conference and you've taken a lot of notes. Why wouldn't you create a video for that for your audience, assuming that it's all the same market, right? So these are just some ideas for like where you can get the inspiration. By the end of this video, I really want you to make a list, to keep your eye open, make a list of videos that you could be creating for your Facebook page. Make it a long list, and then we can just scratch off the ones that are easiest for you. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about how I create my videos.